Hello, my name is Vince. I haven't really dug deep into more like trying to do other things besides Windows. I do have Ubuntu here running off my machine. I haven't showed it too much. Actually, I don't think I showed it at all yet. But I'm here to show you, give you a small walkthrough of what you can do with the operating system before I uninstall it. The reason why I'm uninstalling it is because the problem I have, I only have one hard drive, and I'm running Windows and Ubuntu off of one hard drive. So those of you that know anything about computers will know that's not exactly a good idea. That's why it's getting uninstalled until I get a spare internal hard drive. But until then, it's gonna run a little bit slow because I'm running off of two operating systems on one hard drive. But here we go. And if you guys need to know how to do that, I can tell you. But right now, I don't feel like it. So here we are in Ubuntu. This is the desktop. This is my desktop. Yours will look a little bit different depending on your background. But essentially, this will look the same. Your taskbar or your sorry, I'm thinking of Windows. Your not Windows. Your application start thing will your application bar will be in a different location. Well, it'll be probably in the same location. It's just I have mine hidden. I even do that on Windows. I hide mine typically because I'm running Windows 8, and usually I just hide my taskbar since I'm not on a desktop very often. Um, but this is the main screen of Ubuntu, and we're going to start up here at this top bar up here where it says Ubuntu Desktop. We're going to start up here, and right here is, of course, my screen capture software, Kazam. Right here is the cloud services, Ubuntu 1, um, which, is for backup and all that stuff. Right here is your, um, where you have your connections. Your notifications will be in here, I think, as well, for, like, if you have Facebook and stuff like that. Right here is your volume control, which I usually turn mine down, and your rhythm box for your music and your sound settings. Right here's your clock and your calendar, and right here's your power settings, or about this computer, Ubuntu help, system settings, lock, guest session, me, log out, suspend, and shut down. Now, if you notice, there's not a restart. That's because you have to literally log out first. Then you can restart from that. I don't know why they got rid of restart from up here, but I'm running like I think 13.04 of Linux. Um, but over here is your actual bar. This right here is your application launcher. Of course, you got your trash bin down here. Get empty trash. Um, Now, like I said, I'm running two operating systems. One thing I really liked about Linux, especially this version of Ubuntu, I haven't messed around with them that much, but over here, if you go down here, if you have Windows installed, it'll say Windows. And you can actually click on this. If I didn't launch it twice, oops. But up in here is you can access all your Windows apps, or certain applications. Like if you need to get to your videos or music, you can do it from here. Um, but up here, you got, of course, Firefox. This is LibreOffice, which it comes with. It also comes with Firefox. This is the Ubuntu Software Center, Ubuntu 1. This is the Music Center. This is your system settings. Right here is Kazam, my screen capture software. Right here is where your files are at, which was used to be called, I believe, Home, but they changed it to just Files, I believe. Of course, I got GIMP, Kdenlive, Blender, and your application thing, almost sort of like a start button. Um, but yeah, let's go into your software, your launcher. This is your actual launcher. You can search for, anything you want, settings, your general applications. Uh, but yeah, you can go over here, and this is where you're recently used and things like that as app. Things that are installed. Right here's your files and folders. Right here's where your music would be at. Right here's where your pictures will be at. And right here's where your video will be at. Pretty cool. Um, Now if I would actually go back to, where is that? Home. Um, you could actually search more stuff that's been installed. And yeah, as you can tell, I do have Steam on here. Um, but one thing I will say about Ubuntu or Linux is the fact that, do you want to really make that switch to the operating system? The question is, it's really up to you. Because Ubuntu does have things that are compatible for it, and some things that aren't. That's Windows. That's including games. Um, Games, Steam just was released for Ubuntu not too long ago, and it has some games in there. Anna, the new release horror game, that was done on the Unity engine. It's it's out for it. But you got, like, if you're a pro editor or doing something along those lines, really there's not much to go on if you're a pro editor like Adobe Premiere. I recommend either Kdenlive, which is this one, or one called Cinderella. They are both really good. Cinderella is much better than Kdenlive. But another option too is if you know Blender 3D, which I have right here. It also has a built-in video editor. That's also professional, and it does do multi-camera. But like I said, it's Blender. It is complicated to use. I'll show you it real quick to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, now we're in Blender, and if you would actually go up here to the top left to where it says default, right next to that there's a drop down menu. And if you go down to video editing, it turns the interface over to a video editor. And you could do pretty much anything, but this is not to replace your actual video editor by any means, because it's really more problemsome than anything. Because if you go down here to add, you could add movie, and you could browse your movies and whatnot. But the problem is you don't have an actual application launcher, or not an application launcher, but a video library thing right here. It doesn't exist, so you'll have to keep going down here, add more, add more, add more, until you got a timeline. It does have multi-camera, so if I would go to edit, and I think it's under scene, no, where's that? Oh, okay, effect strip, and it's under multicam selector, which it'll add it to the timeline like this. And that's another thing too, is you can adjust pretty much how many cameras you have and stuff. But one thing I will say about this is you have to hit G to grab it. You can't just drag and move it like that. You have to literally hit G, bring it to where you need to, and so forth. Then you can select this, select this, and bring it out. It's pretty complicated, just to let you know ahead of time. And if you add audio, I don't think you can view audio waveform. You can always look that up, but that's Blender's editor. There's many other things that you can do with it. GIMP works really well, and so does Blender on this software. I'm going to show you the software store. Alright, here's the store that you can purchase and or download free stuff. Like if you click under system, we have all kinds of stuff that you can do. I mean, it's just like their store is about like almost like Android, or iOS. There's a lot of stuff in their store. I do believe they have productivity that's strictly for video editing. And you could also search. like there's lives, Pitivi, or whatever it's called, Kden Live, Kino, um, GOP Chop, MidTV. There's quite a bit of editors, but Cinderella is not currently listed. Um, but that's pretty much about the extent of it. I don't have anything else. I just downloaded the capture software, hoping it works because it's hard. It's even hard to find a free one for Windows, let alone a free one for Linux. But so far, it seems to be working very, very well. But I use Linux for. I'm trying to use it for professional stuff, like what software can replace Adobe software? Well, Blender will replace most of them. But mainly Blender is an effects program or 3D modeling and animation. So it's good to use it to replace that of After Effects. Kden Live or Cinderella will replace Adobe Premiere, but it's still not as good. Of course, GIMP will replace that of Photoshop, but it's all by preference. Hopefully Adobe does release their software to Linux. I'm pretty sure they will, just don't know when. Um, but other than that, I just wanted to show you just brief tidbits on Ubuntu and what it really looks like. And like I said, it's just really, by preference. Ubuntu or Linux is completely free to download. It's quite a good operating system. It's very stable, and it's secured. Even with me running 2 operating systems on a single hard drive, Ubuntu runs stable. It might run a little slow, but it never crashes. I've never had any problems with it crashing or anything like that, or freezing up on me. It runs very, very stable. But other than that, I think that's all I need to show you. Well, if we go up here, I think there's settings someplace. Just gotta look for it. Bear with me. Oh, that's right. It's down here. Under here is where you can access all your general settings. Like you can access a bunch of stuff. Appearance. You can do quite a bit in appearance. Like changing your background. I'll show you what you will most likely start out as the default, which is this one. This is the default Linux background. As you can tell, it's not really appealing to me, per se. That's why I went with more something like this. It's because it looks prettier. But it's pretty cool, though. You could also change this to radiance, which changes this stuff up here, which I normally leave that at default. You could also add your own background or your own theme. You could also change picture folders, color, and gradients. This is for like this stuff here, which I don't usually mess with too much. Yeah, but you could add behavior, like auto hide the launcher, which is this over here. Reveal location, top left corner. So if I do left corner, it won't show up unless I go up here, I think. It's something like that. I know that. Oh, reveal sensitivity, I got too low. That's why. So if I set up high, there we go. So now if I actually bring my mouse up, it'll reveal itself. But I tend to leave it like this and bring this down. Enable workspaces, I'm not too sure what those are yet. Add show desktop icons in the launcher. But yeah, you got a pretty good idea of what some of that stuff is. And if I go back to settings, brightness lock. Yeah, this is where you can turn off the screen and do all sorts of stuff like that. There's software updater, which software needs an update, which I'm not going to do. This is your keyboard layout, English and whatnot, but we don't need that. Let's see, system settings. Keyboard layout, we got language support, online accounts, privacy, Ubuntu One, Bluetooth, so if you are running a laptop, there's the Bluetooth for it. This is your color, your display. See, it lets me know I have a Samsung monitor. Rotation, that's fine. All displays, sticky edges, so on. This lets me know my keyboard information on sensitivity on that. Mouse and trackpad sensitivity. Network power saving, printers. This is where you back up details. I'm running Ubuntu 13.04 by the way, and it takes up 7.8 gigabytes. Just to let you know. Where you set your time and date, your software updates, universal access, and user accounts. So you could do quite a bit. Like I said, I do have an update. I'll tell it to remind me later because I don't need to know about it. And your updates are put in here, so if you do have an update, it'll put it in here for you, which I think is a really good idea. Just let you know, gives you the option to do it. But other than that, if there's anything else that you need to know, I won't be able to do any more tutorials or walkthroughs or anything like that on Ubuntu until I get a spare hard drive. So if you post something in comments letting me know that you need to know something, I'll see if I know it. If I don't, I'll let you know. But other than that, like I said, I'm still relatively new myself at it, but I really love the operating system. If it was more compatible, I would do a complete switch over to Ubuntu, but it's more or less compatibility. Oh yeah, one other question is with games. Now, with it being compatible with games, it is compatible with some games. Like I said, that was for Windows, but not all of them. One major thing that you have to look at though is Ubuntu does have an emulator, so to speak, so that you can still play your Windows games. It's called Wine, Wine, and I'll show you it in the Ubuntu store because I believe it's in there. Wine. Yeah, there it is. There we go. I accidentally double clicked it. But this is the Wine launcher. This is so you can have Windows compatibility. See Microsoft Windows compatibility layer. Binary emulator and library. So but just to let you know, it doesn't have every single piece of software. You do have to, I think, choose off a list that they have, which they do have a lot. But and I believe some Adobe programs are on there. So remember, you could always like look at the list and maybe even try out Ubuntu for yourself. Get a spare hard drive or partition your single hard drive and try it. As long as you got a good enough machine to run both operating systems. But that's essentially about it. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Vincent, and if you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below. Thank you.